All right, so I don't really have anything written on the board for this segment because it's really more discussion, and there wasn't really anything that I needed to put up there. Just had a calamity. It's okay. Okay, so I had said that I was expecting us to talk about water safety, but not quite yet. There are, I mean, this is an issue. I mean, what's really amazing is in this country, we take safe drinking water for granted, right? You can go up at up in Armstrong County, you can go out in the hallway and drink the water out of the water fountain, right? Most places in the world, you cannot do that. I remember when we were traveling. I think it was either in Denmark or in Sweden. In the airport, they have this signs on water fountains saying, "Hey, look, we have safe water. You can drink here for free." That is not the case in Russia. Nobody drinks tap water. In the Dominican Republic, we visited the Dominican Republic 3 different times, and the first time we were there, they have this thing where you come talk to the concierge, and normally it's the first day. It was like the second day, and they said, "Oh, by the way, don't drink the water; it's not safe." It's the second day we'd been there. Luckily, we knew better than to drink the water, so we didn't. But safe drinking water is here in America, it's the norm, but in many parts of the world, it is not. Now, where does your water come from? Well, around here, it comes from the river. The rivers, we've got 3 of them, right? The Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. Or if you live up in Armstrong County or Butler County or wherever, you might have a well, and that would be from groundwater. So, but here we have a lot of water, and it's pretty darn inexpensive if you think about it. On average in the U.S., it's $2 for 1,000 gallons. Pretty good deal. Other places, not so much. The weird thing is population density is not correlated, tied to water supply, and it really should be. But do you know where the fastest growing community in the U.S. is? In Vegas, Las Vegas. They don't have much water there, and yet it's a huge, very rapidly growing community. And the issue is, where are they getting their water? Well, they pump it from way down deep. The water that is being used for drinking in Vegas was produced during the last ice age. It's absolutely unsustainable, the approach. At some point, they're going to run out of water. And so I don't know what happens to Vegas then, but it's just a reality, right? What complicates, so we'd said, well, we have potable water, non-potable water, how we use that water. I mean, in reality, if you think about it, the water that we use to wash our dishes or our hands or take as a shower, we should be like hanging on to that stuff and using that to flush our toilets. But we don't. We use potable water in most cases. Chatham University has a location called the Eden Hall campus, and one of their programs, it's a really cool program, is a program in sustainability. How can we live our lives where we are more efficient in the use of resources? And so they use their kitchen water to irrigate plants. I mean, they have all kinds of cool ideas. So we had said that water cycles. So there's only a finite amount of water, and all of the water on Earth that is here, it's the same water, whether you're talking now or 100 million years ago. It's all the same water. It's just cycling between the oceans, the lakes, the streams, the atmosphere, and groundwater and ice. So it's cycling. And the distribution, so here we say, well, it's not a big issue. Here we've got enough water. But what's happening is we're suffering from global climate change and things are changing. And with global climate change, there are going to be places that have always had water that no longer have it. One thing that I ran into in my lifetime, I grew up in the South and then I moved north, and I've lived like half of my life in the North, first half of my life in the South, and I briefly moved back down south about 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years, but I moved down there for a couple of years and decided to come back up here. That's a whole different story. But anyway, I was amazed at how much more violent the storms were than they had been when I was a kid. And this is directly attributable to increasing global temperature and changing of global weather patterns. I lived in Jackson, Tennessee, and we had tornadoes at least once a month. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and there were only one or two tornadoes my entire childhood. Every house had the little thing like the Wizard of Oz, the thing you jump in the ground. They were so common there. What else do I want to say? Oh, you then have places like in Russia where the former Soviet Union, where they basically dam up a river. So so there's Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. They always had enough water, except upstream, Russia dammed up the river, so they don't have water now. So they have apparently an 80% water loss over a 30-year period. Not good. All right, I'm going to stop right there. We'll come back and talk about this a little more.